welcome. If you are watching and listening now, it means you have chosen to give yourself a pause, a moment entirely your own, away from the noise of the day. This is Opulent Dreams, a place where time slows down, where stories flow gently, and where sleep arrives without being called. Tonight, I have the privilege of guiding you slowly towards rest. There is nothing you need to do. Simply listen and let go. If you wish, you can support this journey with a small gesture by following the channel, liking this video, and leaving a comment telling us where you are watching from tonight. A quiet way of being present together, even from afar. For now, though, this time is yours. Lower the lights. Settle into a comfortable position. Allow your body to find its own balance. Soften your breathing. There is no need to control it. Just allow it to slow down. The world can wait. Your worries can remain outside this night. I wish you a deep, elegant, natural rest. Let yourself be gently carried. And when you are ready, let the dream begin. Imagine you are lying on a bed of soft feathers. The sheets beneath you are made of the finest white silk, cool to the touch and as light as a breath of wind. Breathe slowly. Let the air enter through your nose with absolute calm, filling your lungs, and then let it leave even more slowly. You are in Versailles, the largest and most majestic palace in the world. This is the place where luxury has no limits, where every stone, every heavy silk curtain, and every stray ray of light has been designed to create a world apart. A world of unparalleled beauty and rigid elegance. It is the year 1780, and today you will accompany the Queen of France through her most perfect day. Before the sun has touched the golden rooftops of the palace, there is already movement in the royal chambers. The marble corridors are silent, but that silence is delicate, almost sacred. The candles of the crystal chandeliers are still burning, their light trembling slowly over the gilded walls, the silk tapestries, and the white stucco depicting angels and garlands of flowers. At the heart of the palace, in the Chambre de la Reine, Marie Antoinette sleeps. She is 25 years old, the most watched woman in Europe. The bed where she rests is a work of art. The canopy is embroidered with gold thread and pale blue silk, while the columns that support it are lacquered in white and adorned with golden roses. The curtains are of ivory velvet, so heavy they barely let in the light, yet so soft that touching them feels like a cloud. On the bed, pillows are stacked generously, each one filled with hand-selected goose feathers. The Queen sleeps surrounded by that perfect regal silence. Her breathing is slow and deep, just like yours in this moment. The ritual of the awakening. At 8 in the morning, the chamber door opens softly. There are no abrupt sounds. Everything is planned so that the awakening is a gentle transition, like passing from one dream into another. The première femme de chambre enters, carrying a cream silk robe adorned with Brussels lace at the collar and cuffs. Each piece of lace was hand-woven by craftswomen who spent weeks on that single garment. She walks without a sound, her satin shoes barely grazing the parquet floor. She approaches the bed and in a whisper announces, "Madame, it is time." Now begins the lever of the Queen. This awakening is not a private act. It is a ceremony attended by dozens of people, each with their exact rank and role. Being present is an immense honor, a privilege many desire, but few obtain. Little by little, the ladies in waiting enter in dresses of pale pink, lavender blue, and sage green. Their movements are slow and studied, like dancers who know every step by heart. They arrange themselves with silent bows as the light of a spring dawn begins to fill the room. The dance of protocol. The queen opens her eyes slowly. For a moment, she simply gazes at the silk canopy above her, the first thing she sees every morning. Then she smiles faintly. The day begins. The highest ranking lady approaches with the robe de chambre. But before it can be put on, protocol must be followed. If a princess enters, it is she who has the honor of presenting the robe. If a duchess arrives first, the garment passes from hand to hand in a precise choreography. No one takes offense, for every gesture is part of an ancient order where form is everything. Marie Antoinette accepts the robe with natural ease. Her hands are white and fine, her fingers long and delicate. The silk falls over her shoulders like water. Meanwhile, another lady brings a porcelain basin filled with water perfumed with rose water. The queen submerges her hands, feeling the gentle warmth and the sweet fragrance rising in small wisps of steam. A moment of absolute calm. Now, breathe to the rhythm of that silence. The fragrance of roses reaches you, soft and enveloping. The warm water and the silk feel like a protective embrace. Let your body sink a little deeper. The shoulders drop, the jaw loosens, the eyes grow heavy. You are in Versailles. You are safe. While the ladies prepare the dressing ceremony, the queen drinks a cup of hot chocolate. In Versailles, the day always begins with the finest cacao, ground by hand and mixed with a pinch of cinnamon, served in a savour porcelain cup. As she savours it, she listens to the first reports of the day. Letters arrive during the night and scheduled visits, but all of it arrives filtered through an atmosphere of peaceful luxury. The sunlight now enters more decisively, touching the gilded mouldings and reflecting in the mirrors. The candles are extinguished, no longer needed. Imagine you are seated in an armchair of golden silk by the window. Outside, the gardens stretch as far as the eye can see. Everything is order, beauty, and peace. Your breathing is slow. Your mind is calm. You are exactly where you need to be, in Versailles, at the beginning of a perfect day. Close your eyes and imagine standing before a large window. The glass is cool, but on the other side, the world is made of gold as the sun rises over Versailles. The gardens stretching before you are the most beautiful ever to exist. Marie Antoinette has a secret habit. Before the court awakens, before the corridors fill with footsteps and ceremony, she walks alone in the gardens. It is her freest, most truthful moment. She dresses in a morning robe à la polonaise of white muslin with pale blue flowers, a cream cashmere shawl over her shoulders, and simple satin shoes. Her hair is tied with a blue silk ribbon. No wig, no powder, no jewels, just herself. She exits through a side door to the Parterre du Midi. The air is fresh, damp with morning dew and the perfumes of the earth. She breathes deeply, just as you do now. Breathe that fresh, clean air. The gardens are a masterpiece of human order designed by André Lenôtre. Everything has its place to create infinite perspectives and wonder. The parterres are geometric embroideries of flowers, looking like Persian carpets of green and colour from above. Boxwood hedges form walls as straight as marble columns, while poplars and linden trees create tunnels of cool shade, their leaves whispering in the breeze. Marie Antoinette walks slowly, her steps on the white gravel making a rhythmic, soothing sound. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Let that sound reach you as you walk without hurry or destination. To her right, the Grand Canal shimmers like a silver mirror stretching toward the horizon, where white swans move in silent elegance. Further along are the silent fountains. The Fountain of Latona is a marble pyramid covered in a fine layer of dew that shimmers like diamonds in the dawn light. The Queen sits on a stone bench and takes a small blue leather book from her pocket, The Fables of La Fontaine. She reads in a low voice, her words blending with the song of blackbirds and goldfinches. Listen to that bird song, a clear, melodic flute among the leaves. Your breathing follows that natural rhythm, slow, soft, and deep. The Queen leans her head back and looks at the sky. It is a soft, spring blue, almost white at the horizon, with clouds moving like hurried thoughts. Nearby, royal gardeners in straw hats perform their silent work. They trim, water, and plant with rhythmic sounds, the whisper of water and the scrape of the rake. These are the oldest, most soothing sounds in the world. A gardener plants roses of a deep pink called cuisse de nymphe. He buries the roots with infinite care and smooths the earth. The Queen smiles, calmed by the simple gesture. The scent of the roses, sweet, fresh, and green, drifts toward her. Breathe in that fragrance of roses and damp earth. In the Grand Bosquet, the trees form a green cathedral with vaulted ceilings of leaves. The ground is covered in soft, springy moss. Here, the palace disappears. Only the birds and the wind remain. In this moment, she is not the Queen of France. She is simply a woman among the trees. You can be that too, a person at rest, without roles or obligations. Only your breathing, only this moment, as your muscles loosen and thoughts pass like clouds. As the palace fully awakens, she begins her return along the Allée Royale. White marble statues of goddesses and nymphs watch her with serene expressions. She passes them as if moving through an ancient dream. The palace facade shines under the morning sun, its 700 windows reflecting light like earthly stars. Marie Antoinette pauses one last time to look at the gardens, the fountains, the swans, the whispering trees. She smiles and goes inside. You stay a moment longer on that stone bench. With the book in your hands, the sun rises, the birds sing, and the roses perfume the air. Everything is exactly as it should be. Breathe and let yourself be carried. Return to the interior of the palace. Follow the Queen through the marble corridors, where the floor beneath your feet is so brilliantly polished it reflects your figure like a mirror. The walls are covered in gilded panels and relief moldings depicting acanthus leaves and interlaced ribbons, every detail carved by hand over years. Walk slowly. Observe. Breathe. Feel. The most elaborate moment of the morning has arrived. The ritual of the great dress. In Versailles, getting dressed is not a private act. It is a declaration of power and beauty that speaks to the entire court of Europe. The Chambre de la Reine has been prepared with care. In the center, on a white lacquered stand, waits the dress the Queen chose the previous afternoon from her silk-bound book of fabric samples. Today, she has chosen a robe à la Française in Versailles blue silk, a deep blue like a summer sky, with violet reflections. The fabric, woven in Lyon, features a fine floral pattern of fleurs de lis and myrtle, visible only when the light grazes the silk at a specific angle. It is a masterpiece by Rose Bertin, the visionary minister of fashion who turned dressmaking into a high art. The dressing process begins with the ladies in waiting arranged around the Queen. First is the chemise, an inner shirt of white batiste so fine it is almost transparent. Then come the stays, an architectural piece of hardened fabric and whalebone that creates the perfect silhouette. A narrow waist, high chest, and straight back. Marie Antoinette has learned to breathe within them with a naturalness that took years to acquire. Next are the three petticoats: linen, starched cotton, and silk taffeta. The sound of the moving taffeta is a soft, dry whisper that fills the room. Shh, shh, shh. Listen to that sound, as regular as rain on leaves. Your breathing follows it, slow, soft, and regular. Now 4 ladies lift the main dress. It is heavy with meters of silk and kilos of embroidery. As they lower it over the queen, the fabric feels cool, then warm, taking on the temperature of her skin. The skirts unfold around her feet like the petals of a giant flower. Everything is done in a meditative silence. Every gesture has a purpose. Finally, a lady kneels to slip on the shoes. Curved heels of blue silk with diamond-set silver buckles, fine as tulip petals. Leonard Autier, the celebrated hairdresser, enters with his lacquered box of ivory combs and silver pins. He studies the queen's hair like a sculptor studying marble. For an hour, he works with tongs heated over embers, building an invisible architecture of wire and pads. He coils and elevates the hair 15 centimeters above her head, weaving in hand-painted porcelain flowers and a pale blue ostrich feather that trembles with every movement. A large soft puff applies white starch powder, covering the hair in a soft cloud that floats in the air like delicate incense. Then come the jewels, brought in an ebony and gold case. For today, a necklace of 3 sapphire and diamond strands that cascade over the neckline, and earrings that cast flashes of light with every turn of her head. The final touch is her perfume, created by Jean-Louis Fargen. It is a composition of rose, iris, vanilla, and sandalwood, sweet, deep, and warm. As the lady applies a few drops to her wrists and neck, the fragrance rises. That perfume reaches you now. Close your eyes. Breathe it in. Let it envelop you. Marie Antoinette looks at herself in the enormous mirror framed with gilded cupids. The image reflected is that of a completely transformed woman, the radiant and impeccable Queen of France. And yet, in her eyes, if you look carefully, there is still something of the woman who walked among the trees of the gardens this morning. Something calm and true that no dress can entirely cover. You watch her from your golden armchair, sinking a little deeper into the silk. The light is soft, the air is fragrant, and your eyelids grow heavy. The day in Versailles continues to unfold with its timeless elegance. Everything is calm. Everything is beauty. Exactly as it should be. Breathe deeply. Let the air enter slowly, and let yourself be carried toward the heart of the palace, toward the salons where the art of living reaches its fullest expression, where eating is not simply nourishment, but celebration, delight, wonder. In Versailles, midday brings with it one of the most curious and fascinating rituals of the entire court, the grand couvert. It is the public meal of the royals, a moment in which Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette sit at table before the eyes of anyone who has obtained permission to be present in the salon. And that permission is not difficult to obtain. One need only be correctly dressed, carrying a sword at the hip in the case of men, and behaving with the appropriate discretion. And then you may approach and watch the King and Queen of France as they eat. It is an ancient tradition, almost incomprehensible to modern sensibility. But in the 18th century, it carries a precise meaning. The king eats in public because his body belongs to the kingdom. His health is the health of France. His vitality is the vitality of the state. To see him eat is a way of confirming that all is well, that the order of the world is maintained. The salon where the Grand Couvert takes place is the Salon des Grands Appartements, a room of perfect proportions. The ceiling is painted in fresco with an allegory of abundance. Goddesses and cherubs hold cornucopias overflowing with fruits and golden wheat. The walls are clad in marble of two colours, white Carrara and green from the Pyrenees, alternating in panels framed with gilded bronze pilasters. The windows look out onto the central parterre of the garden, letting in a generous uniform light. The table is a masterpiece in itself. The tablecloth is of Flemish linen, so white it seems to have its own light, starched and ironed to a perfection that holds no creases whatsoever. Against that white background, everything else shines with intensity. The tableware is Sèvres porcelain, the royal manufactory. Each piece is hand-painted with a garland of roses in pink and green with a border of solid gold, arranged with millimetric precision. The cutlery is of solid silver, engraved with the royal monogram, the L interlaced with the M of Marie. The knives have handles of white mother of pearl with fine grey veins, while the spoons are deep and heavy, conveying a feeling of permanence and quiet wealth. The glasses are of Bohemian crystal, mouth blown so fine that they sing with a clear tone when touched. At the centre of the table stand silver candelabras with 12 arms. Even in the middle of the day, the beeswax candles are lit. In Versailles, candles are part of the decoration, creating a continuous warm light that makes everything appear more beautiful. The service begins with an almost imperceptible signal from the maître d'hôtel. A procession of footmen enters wearing the king's livery, navy blue with gold braid and powdered wigs. Each carries a tray covered with a silver dome. At a signal, the domes are lifted all at once, and steam rises in white wisps as the aromas fill the salon. There are always two soups. One is a potage à la reine, a cream of fowl with ground almonds and thick cream, smelling of roasted chicken and nutmeg. The other is a beef consommé, clarified for hours until it is as transparent as the Bohemian crystal, with small marrow quenelles floating on the surface. The second course brings the relevés. Rhine salmon in white wine jelly, decorated with carved carrot flowers, chicken fricassee with black Perigord truffles, and roasted veal glazed in its own fat for 3 hours. Everything arrives at the exact temperature because more than 300 people are at work in the kitchens, coordinating every movement over charcoal braziers. Wines are poured, a fresh Chablis for the soups, and a deep garnet Chambertin from Burgundy for the meats. Between courses, the spectators, aristocrats, ambassadors, and travellers watch in silence. The Queen eats with perfect naturalness, having learned since childhood to be observed without disturbance. Yet, sometimes her eyes move with a quick glance. If she sees a genuine expression of wonder, she might smile faintly, a smile the receiver will remember for the rest of their life. Then come the desserts, the most astonishing moment. 4 footmen carry a centerpiece of sculpted sugar, a reduced reproduction of the Palace of Versailles with extraordinary detail. Around it are distributed macarons of pink, pistachio, and a crème brûlée with a crust of caramelized sugar that cracks at the first touch of a spoon. The Queen takes a pink macaron, She holds it between two fingers, smiles, and brings it to her lips. She closes her eyes as she eats it. For just 1 second, the entire world of the palace holds its breath. The candles have burned down, their light now warmer and softer, and let the afternoon of Versailles begin to unfold with elegance as always. The afternoon arrives at Versailles with gentleness. The light changes. It is no longer the golden, direct glare of the morning, but a softer, more oblique glow. It enters through the tall windows at long, lazy angles, touching the gilded surfaces with a different tenderness. Everything seems more intimate, warmer, and closer to dreaming. In the hours following the Grand Couvert, the palace lives its most social moment. The salons fill, and the court moves, gathering, dispersing, and gathering again. It is like a living organism that breathes and beats according to its own ancient rhythms. Marie Antoinette moves through the salons with a tranquil step. The train of her blue dress whispers over the parquet, shh, shh, shh. That soft sound follows your breathing like a faithful shadow. The first of the great rooms is the Salon de l'Oie de Boeuf. Its name comes from the oval window, a bullseye of leaded glass that crowns one of its walls, letting in light in a circular beam like a gentle lighthouse. The walls are covered in carved and gilded wood, featuring reliefs of children playing among garlands of fruits. If you watch them long enough, their chubby legs seem to move in mid-leap. In this salon gather the ladies and gentlemen waiting for an audience. They stand in small groups, speaking in low voices that create a continuous, soft murmur, like a shallow stream flowing over smooth stones. Listen to that cadence. Your mind loosens. Thoughts become less sharp, less urgent. The Queen greets each group with natural grace, her extraordinary memory allowing her to recall every name and family history. She pauses by an elderly lady in green silk, holding her hand with genuine warmth. The lady's cheeks flush beneath her white makeup, and that small joy spreads through the salon like circles a stone makes in water. Beyond lies the Salon de Mars, the salon of war, though on this afternoon it is entirely peaceful. The walls are hung in crimson velvet, a deep, dark red that absorbs the light and transforms it into warmth. At each end, gilded wooden galleries covered in silver fabric stand in silence, holding the expectation of musicians yet to arrive. In the centre are tables for backgammon, chess, and cards. Gaming is the soul of the Versailles afternoon. Around one table, 4 gentlemen play pharaon. Their movements are slow. The cards fall onto the green baize with a soft, dry sound. Plaques, plaque, plaque. It is a hypnotic, regular rhythm. The Queen joins the game, her fingers picking up the cards with a light, playful concentration. Beside her, the Comte d'Artois whispers a witty comment, and her sudden, light laughter rings out like an unexpected and perfect musical note. Further inside is the Salon d'Apollon, the most solemn of all. The ceiling, painted by Charles de la Fosse, depicts Apollo in his solar chariot, his face bearing the features of the Sun King, Louis XIV. On the walls hang Gobelins tapestries, narratives woven in silk and wool so detailed they look like paintings. Their ultramarine blues and malachite greens have acquired a slight veiling over the years, a softness that comes only with age. One tapestry depicts a garden at dawn with a fountain and a woman seen from behind, looking toward the horizon. Her posture conveys a complete, wordless peace. In this moment, you are that figure. Your hands rest on a cool balustrade. The garden stretches before you. You have no need to go anywhere. Just looking, just breathing, just being. In the Salon de la Paix, the music has begun. 4 musicians settle beside the window to play a Haydn quartet. The notes of the first violin rise with a fluidity that resembles an intelligent conversation, while the cello sustains the melody from below like an invisible foundation. Let the music arrive. Let it enter your ears and descend through your body like warm water rising slowly. Marie Antoinette pauses at the doorway, listening with eyes almost closed. In this moment, she is not the Queen of France or the most watched woman in Europe. She is simply someone listening to music, experiencing a simple, profound happiness that needs no audience. Beside her, the Princesse de Lamballe, her dearest friend, stands in silence. Their two silhouettes form an image of perfect stillness. The second movement of the quartet is slower, more intimate. The notes lengthen, sustained in the air like sighs, transformed into calm. Your eyes have grown heavy, and you notice it without concern. It is natural. The light is warm and even. The music fills the space without gaps or abrupt silences. The afternoon advances. The sun has moved, and the shadows of the candelabras on the gilded walls are now longer and softer. The murmur of conversation has grown measured, as if the whole palace were breathing more gently, preparing for the transformation that comes with the night, when Versailles becomes something even more beautiful, more unreal, and more close to dreaming. The night arrives at Versailles like a tide, slowly, without hurry or announcement. The sky deepens from indigo to a brilliant, star-flecked black above the golden rooftops. Then, the palace transforms. At night, Versailles does not go dark. It ignites. 1,700 beeswax candles are required to illuminate the great salons for a ball. An army of footmen moves with long tapers, climbing ladders to reach the highest arms of crystal chandeliers and silver candelabras. As each flame is born, the darkness retreats, the gold of the walls awakens, and the mirrors multiply the light until it is endless. The salons fill with warmth, like a bowl filling with water, until everything shines. Enter the Galerie des Glaces, the Hall of Mirrors. No image can faithfully reproduce the feeling of entering the 73-meter gallery. To your left, 17 windows look out onto the illuminated gardens. To your right, 17 matching arches of mirrors. Each arch is composed of 21 flat glass mirrors, 357 in total. Tonight, those mirrors reflect the 1,700 flames, a mathematics of beauty impossible to calculate. Even the parquet floor has been waxed until it too becomes a mirror, reflecting the light from below. You are enveloped, floating in a world of radiance. Above, the ceiling painted by Charles Le Brun tells of the Sun King's victories, but in the soft candlelight, the rearing horses and heroes seem serene, almost dreamlike. At the far end, on a platform of crimson velvet, the 32 musicians of the court orchestra wait. The maître de chapelle raises his baton, and the music begins. It is an overture by Christoph Willibald Gluck, the composer Marie Antoinette has loved since her childhood in Vienna. The melody begins with the violins alone, a serene rise and fall that resolves like a sigh of relief. Then the woodwinds enter, the flute, ethereal as a nocturnal bird, and the oboe, sweet and bitter, all at once. Beneath it all, the double basses and cellos sustain a slow, regular pulse, like the beating of a calm heart. Your own heart synchronizes with it, beat by beat. The guests arrive, the flower of European aristocracy. Their satin, moire, and taffeta dresses capture the candlelight, turning every movement into a kaleidoscope of light and colour. Jewels add another layer of brilliance. Diamonds casting flashes, emeralds deepening in the glow, and pearls shimmering with a soft inner light. Then Marie Antoinette enters. Tonight she wears a dress of moonlight silk, a white that holds blue and silver within its folds. Her bodice is a constellation of hand-sewn diamond flowers. In her hair, which reaches 20 centimeters high, white ostrich feathers and a diamond tiara send out perfect flashes of light. She walks with a practiced cadence, the silk of her immense skirt whispering against the parquet. Shh, shh, shh. The king opens the ball with the queen. They take their places for the minuet, a conversation in movement. Every bow and step is the result of years of practice, looking spontaneous yet governed by precise tradition. As they move, the dance happens 357 times at once, reflected in every mirror. Soon, the gallery fills with couples. The minuet gives way to the more fluid allemande. Arms rise, bodies incline, and fabrics fly. The music bounces off the glass and amplifies until the room itself seems to be singing. From your quiet place, you watch until the world becomes gentle and kind. Marie Antoinette pauses by a window. Outside, the gardens are traced in orange fire by torches arranged along the parterres, their light reflected in the Grand Canal like stars in the water. The Queen presses her palm against the cool glass. She feels the contrast, the warmth, music, and voices of the ball behind her, and the silent, cool stillness of the night outside. Two worlds separated by a millimeter of glass. Close your eyes and feel that contrast. The music arrives from far away now, as if from another dream within this dream. Your body is heavy, still, and safe. The candles have burned lower, their flames smaller and quieter. The light has become more intimate, more golden. The night advances, and Versailles prepares for its most secret moment. The dinner yet to come. The dream that draws near. Candle by candle, note by note. Midnight approaches Versailles, but here, time works differently. It stretches and dilates, becoming soft and malleable like warm candle wax. After the ball, the guests are led toward the Grand's apartments in a slow, shimmering procession. A river of silk and light flowing through the palace corridors. The Salon de Venus has been prepared for the night. It is a circular room of honey-colored marble, where alabaster goddesses stand in niches with half-closed eyes, as if they too were drifting towards sleep. Tonight, the table is set for 36 of the Queen's closest circle. The tablecloth is ivory linen, embroidered at the edges with silver stars and moons, the motif of the secret dinner, the dinner of the dark hours. Even the candles are different. Burnished silver holders carry wax scented with benzoin and ambergris. Their perfume is deep and nocturnal, enveloping you like an invisible blanket. Breathe it in. Let it take with it every last thread of tension. Everything waits in suspense until Marie Antoinette takes her place. In the window glass, the candle flames reflect against the stars outside. Two worlds mixed in a magic mirror. She smiles and speaks the first words of the night to the Prince de Condé, and the dinner begins. The lackeys, dressed in silver livery to match the moonlight, move with silent steps. The first glass is the finest champagne. Observe the bubbles, fine, regular threads of silver ascending endlessly. Like your thoughts when released, they rise to the surface and disappear. It tastes of toasted bread and almonds, fresh as spring water. The first course is a terrine of partridge and foie gras, served in perfect slices of dark pink and golden ochre, like miniature paintings. Alongside come brioche toasts, so thin they are translucent, breaking with a soft, intimate crack. Next arrives a lobster bisque, a dense soup of deep orange whipped with cream and butter into liquid velvet. A spiral of tarragon cream decorates the surface. As the soft cloud of steam rises, close your eyes. Feel that heat, the scent of cognac and the sea. The queen takes her heavy silver spoon and brings it to her lips, a look of genuine pleasure crossing her face. The third course is a supreme de volaille in white truffle sauce. The aroma of the Piedmont truffle is unforgettable, a mix of damp earth, wild garlic, and dark honey. It is served with tiny new potatoes and slices of black Perigord truffle arranged like dark scales. The wines follow, a Montrachet that smells of white flowers, and then the legendary Romane Conti. Lift your bohemian crystal glass. Feel its weight. The dark red liquid is like the night itself locked in a crystal. The fourth course brings the gigot d'agneau, marinated for 12 hours in lavender, rosemary, and thyme. Roasted over a slow fire, the meat needs no knife. It yields at the slightest touch. It is accompanied by peas as sweet as green candies and carrots glazed in lavender honey, shiny as lacquer. The night advances. Conversations become slower, more intimate. The guests lean back, bathed in the golden, flickering twilight of the dying candles. This soft light makes every face seem younger, more serene. The cheese tray arrives on walnut wood, aged Comté with its crunching crystals, Saline Roquefort, and fresh chèvre wrapped in ash. They are paired with a sauterne, a golden wine that tastes of candied apricot and saffron, a sweetness that has no name in any language. Finally, the desserts appear. They are softer than those of midday, designed for the somnolence that precedes sleep. An île flottante, where meringue light as a cloud floats on a lake of vanilla custard. A mousse au chocolat made from the black cacao of Santo Domingo. A dark foam that dissolves on the tongue, leaving only a sweet, deep memory. The mignardises, salted butter, caramels, and pastel dragées. Marie Antoinette takes a white dragée between two fingers. It is a small, perfect sphere, white as the moon visible through the window. She brings it to her lips and bites. Close your eyes too. Hear that soft crunch. Feel the toasted almond and the sugar. The perfume of the benzoin and vanilla remains floating in the warm air as the candles are extinguished one by one. Voices become lower. Chairs are pulled back softly from the parquet, and the last sips of sauternes are taken. The dinner of the stars ends, as all perfect things do, slowly, without anyone wanting it to finish, but with the heavy, sweet sensation that it has been enough. It has been everything. Wow. The night has advanced far, and the palace breathes with the slow, rhythmic cadence of a living being preparing for its final rest. The candles have burned down to small, trembling orange flames, mere points of light in the deepening shadows. One by one, the guests have departed, their slow bows and whispered farewells absorbed by the silent corridors. Their footsteps have receded, becoming softer and more distant until they vanished altogether, leaving behind a silence that is not empty, but full. It is a silence thick with the day's music, the echoes of laughter, and the scent of silk and powder, lingering like a perfume long after the wearer has left the room. Marie Antoinette walks through the Galerie des Glaces one last time. She is almost alone. Behind her, two ladies in waiting follow at a respectful distance, their silence a gift to her. Her steps upon the parquet are the only sound. Shh, shh, shh. In the exact center of the gallery, where the perspective is perfect, she stops. Here, the mirrors reflect each other into infinity, multiplying her image until she is lost in the distance. One Marie Antoinette after another, smaller and more blurred until she becomes a barely perceptible point of light. She looks at this multiplication not with vanity, but with a quiet curiosity. Outside, the moon is high and white, its silver light pouring through the 17 arches to mix with the golden candle glow. This fusion creates a nameless light, soft and weightless, that exists only here, only tonight. Feel that light on your skin, cold and warm at once, covering you like a blanket of air. The queen resumes her way toward the Chambre de la Reine. The corridors are now lit only by bronze sconces, casting long, dreamlike shadows. As the doors to her room open, the space receives her like a sanctuary. Everything is exactly in its place. The fireplace burns with quiet embers, a deep, constant red that provides a perfect, uniform warmth. This heat enters through every pore, relaxing every muscle that still holds tension. Now begins the kosher, the ritual of going to bed, which is the exact mirror of the morning's lever. It is the same ancient ceremony, but played in reverse. The ladies in waiting help the queen undress with a rhythm that is slower and softer, as if every gesture knows its destination is repose. The sapphire necklace is unfastened with care. The stones cast their last blue glints upon the walls before disappearing into the ebony chest with a definitive click. Then the earrings follow, leaving the lobes light and free, a sudden physical relief after hours of brilliance. The silver pins, ivory combs, and ostrich feathers are removed one by one. The hair falls, released from its architecture of hours. As the lady brushes it with long, slow strokes, the sound is hypnotic, like soft rain upon leaves. Stroke, stroke, stroke. Your own head becomes heavier as you listen. Do not force your eyes open. Let them be. The blue dress falls from her shoulders like water, gathered by the lady and hung with care. In its place comes the nightgown of white batiste, so fine it feels like mist. It is cool for a second, then quickly takes the temperature of the body, merging with it. The queen sits at her dressing table, facing the oval mirror. A cream of almonds and rosewater is applied to her face in slow, circular movements. The scent is sweet and calming. Her eyes in the glass are tired, but with the satisfaction of a day lived fully. You feel that same sweet weight on your eyelids now, a loosening of the muscles that spreads from the center of your chest to your very toes. The bed waits, a world of embroidered silk, ivory velvet, and pillows filled with goose feathers. Marie Antoinette slides between the sheets. The silk is cold for only a moment before the body warms it. The pillow receives her head with a perfect, yielding softness. Feel your own pillow now. Find that exact spot where the neck settles and surrenders. The ladies draw the ivory velvet curtains, creating a dark, safe interior world. One by one, the candles are extinguished with a silver snuffer. Tss, tss, tss. Each hiss is a step toward complete darkness. Only the fireplace remains, those red embers throbbing like a sleeping heart. The First Lady withdraws, and the door closes with a soft click, the outside world saying its final goodbye. The silence of Versailles is now complete, a silence with weight and texture, settling over the palace like the first snowfall. Inside the silk canopy, the queen breathes slowly, her hands open upon the sheets like flowers in the dark. Between each breath is a long, peaceful silence. Outside, the fountains are still. The swans sleep in the canal with heads tucked under wings, and the roses have closed. The 700 windows of the palace are dark. The mirrors of the gallery reflect only the moon. The perfume of roses lingers as a fading memory. Everything is in its place. Everything rests.